What's poppin' T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, and I'm here with tonight's All Tea All Shade Fargo Season 4 Episode 8 review. So we start off this episode with us having to watch Josto eat a very juicy, medium rare steak. It made me hungry, but I was also very disgusted. We also see him getting dominated by Miss Mayflower in the bedroom. She is tying him up. She's smothering that motherfucker. They having a nasty kinky sex, and I was here for it. So we also see him planning his wedding with his fiance and her father. Remember, I think the fiance's father is an alderman or something like that, and he's trying to help him win the race or something. Remember, he does not even like his fiance. He's not attracted to her at all. So after him and Miss Mayflower get done with their kink fest, they're laying in the bed smoking a cigarette, and he tells her that he's getting married in March. And she felt some type of way about that because she looking like, how you gonna be over here letting me choke you and slap you up and you promised to somebody else? She didn't call Fifi's for him. So she plays it off because he gets just talking about, her childhood and how she grew up very sickly as a child, and she was in and out of the hospital herself. So she asked, does he love his fiance? And he was like, she knits. And she was like, I do too. Like, what about her makes her better than me? So he gets up to use the bathroom, and while he's gone, she takes it upon herself to then call the hospital to check on the status of Dr. Harvard. And so she's pretending to be his sister, and she learned that he made a full recovery. So she is freaking the fuck out because her plan didn't go as she wanted it to. She thought that Dr. Harvard was going to be dead. So Josto returns into the room, and she hurries up and get off the phone and tells her that, when he was traded as a little boy, that the Irishman did things to him that no man should ever do to a child. So I'm guessing, he was touched on or whatever. So she, however, does not want to hear any of that because she's worried about, getting found out about trying to kill Dr. Harvard. Plus, she's still mad that he's getting married to someone else. So he tells her that he loves her, and she looking like, the fuck, get out. So she tell him to get the fuck out. She don't want to hear none of that shit. And he looking like, like, bitches, just, like, you can't please these hoes for shit. So she gets dressed for the hospital and tells him that she won't be at his wedding, and she's throwing him off doing her little duck walk that she like to do. So Josto returns to the bar that, his family runs and finds, all the men crowded around. He like, what's going on? And so they spread apart, and he then sees his brother sitting at the table, bloody, battered, and bruised up and pissed. So he looking like, oh shit. So Gitano gets up and knocks his ass the fuck out. And I was hollering because Josto ended up flying across the room. So then he picks him up and then he knocked his ass the fuck out. So then we see Josto wake up on the floor, money and cars around him. And Josto comes over to him and says, who murdered the child to have me killed? And Josto plays dumb or whatever because he know that he was, trying to get his brother killed. And but Gitano surprises him and tells him that he's proud of him because he knows that Lloyd was trying to pit them against each other to take each other out. So Gitano apologizes and vows to protect his little brother, and Josto says the oath to them, and they hug, and everything is a-okay at this point. So Ebal, however, is looking at them like, these young motherfuckers, these niggas so goddamn dumb. Like, I'm old school with this shit. I don't have time for it. So he just walk off disgusted because, he really cared for Dr. Senator. So Lloyd's men tell him that the plan didn't work and asked him what to do now. And Lloyd was like, Fargo. And I was like, well, what the hell does that mean? Because I didn't watch the first 3 seasons. So Lloyd's wife, then we see go to Ethelrita's house and tells Debriel she's there for her son. So they end up going into the kitchen and talking, and Lloyd's wife tells Debriel that she, will not be able to help her, so don't even fucking ask. And she tells Debriel that, her youngest son is dead. And Debriel tells her, does your oldest son know? Talking about Lemuel. And she was like, nah, he doesn't know yet. And so Debril begs her for a fair shake to make things right with her and Lloyd, because they do not want to lose the funeral home. So the wife asks her to hold the service for Satchel, and she was like, "Of course I will." And that it will be her honor. So Lemuel and Ethelreda up in her room talking about music and everything, and I knew they was gonna have a connection. I really want to see them together in the end of this. So they're talking about music and everything, they vibing, and then Zelmare interrupts them. I mean, Debril interrupts them and tells him that his mama is downstairs for him. So he leaves out the room, and Debril tells Ethelreda, "You stay away from that boy. He's your captor, not your friend, and you can't afford to make mistakes." She had to remind her, like, he ain't our friend. Like, he's here to police our house, hold us the fuck captive. Like, they done took over everything. Like, don't get caught up with her and Lemuel vibing with each other. And I want to see them together. And I need mama to quit fucking cock blocking and let her get her young life. You made your choice, let her make hers. So Miss Mayflower was at the hospital freaking the fuck out. She going through the paperwork trying to find out where the fuck Dr. Harvey is so she can go and finish the job. So she asks one of the nurses about him, and she learns that Dr. Harvey has been transferred to another state at another hospital for poisoning, and they know that somebody tried to murder him. So now she is really shook. She's like, "Oh shit, the cops is about to get me." So she rushes home and start packing her shit, doing that duck walk she like to do. And I was like, this is when she's about to find Ethelreda's notebook that she left behind that day. And sure enough, she finds it and she grabs it, and then she goes and grabs the letter, and she puts two and two together and realizes that Ethelreda was the one that set her up. So now she is seeing blood. She wants that ass. So we then see her watching Ethelreda as she leaves to go to school that morning, looking like, "I'm gonna get you, sucker, or I'm gonna get you, you nigga, bitch, you." So Lloyd's man is standing outside of his home when Deafy pulls up on him. And at first he was like, "You in the wrong neighborhood, homeboy. You better get your white ass up out of here." And he showed him his gun, and Deafy was like, "Shit, I got one of those too, but I'm the U.S. Marshal." So he was looking like, fuck. So they escort him inside into Lloyd's house, and him and Lloyd have a seat, and they sit down. And Lloyd tells him that his family is gone somewhere safe, so you ain't gonna be able to get to him. So I don't even know why you in my house is. So Deafy is there, however, for Zelmare and Swanee. Like, he wants to know where they're at. And Lloyd tells him that he promised them no harm would come to them. And Deafy insults him, because Lloyd sits up there and talk about, how he's a family man, he's a deacon at the church, he's a good guy. And Deafy tells him that the Lord knows he's him being a family man and a deacon is a facade. Like, you're not fooling nobody. And Deafy was like, "Ask me how I know for certain." And Lloyd was like, "How?" And Deafy said, "Would a family man trade his son to his enemy in exchange for power and monetary gain?" And I was like, "Well, whoa, 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 whoa. You just read him for filth. You better gather them up, gather the children up, Deafy." And Lloyd was pissed. So he was like, "You need to leave." And so Deafy and then Lloyd's man then pull out at the same time, but Deafy was quicker. And I was like, "You better be quicker than that." So Deafy says, "In submission, boy." And I was like, "Oh no, he didn't call him a boy. Oh no, he didn't. But yes, he did." He says, "If you can sacrifice your youngest like Isaac in the holy book, well then giving up to strangers to keep the might of the federal government off your back, well, that should be as fragile as breathing." And I was like, real talk, like, if you can give up your son, I know you ain't about to protect these two bitches. You ain't even protect your son, my nigga. So Lloyd laughed and said, "You know what? I like you." And so he ends up, however, giving him the lowdown on where Swanee and Zelmare are. He tells him that, they're at the station, about to head to Philly, I believe. So as Deafy leaves, Lloyd tells him when he crosses state lines to keep the fuck going, because he ain't, safe in Missouri no more. And Deafy look at him like, "Nigga, you don't put no fear in my heart." So we then see Deafy at the police station getting all the policemen together to head to the train station. Deafy peeps that Otis was on the phone to somebody and asks him who he was on the phone with, and Otis says it was Lloyd Cannon. He wants me to make sure you get those girls. He doesn't want them coming back on him, because if one of them or both of them end up surviving, they're gonna know that he was the one that told where the fuck they was at. So Otis tells him that he wants to be a cop again, and Deafy was like, "What you mean by that?" And Otis goes on to tell him the story about, how, he's always had this nervous energy about him. He tried to join the service, but, they said he was, worried too much and this and that. And people made fun of him. But when he joined the force, it made him feel like he had power. But then he realized with being on the force, a lot comes with that too, a lot of danger, and it made him even more worried. So that's when he started working with the street gangs and stuff like that, getting paid to handle stuff. But with that comes power and a disadvantage. So he was like, he just basically want to, man up and feel that power again. And he gets off of that because he feels so lowly about himself. So Deafy says, you want to die like a man, you got to live like a man. And Otis was like, I'm ready. So Zelmare and Swanee are at the station, and Swanee said, I'm going to go get some sweets. And Zelmare said, that sweet tooth is going to kill you one day. So Swanee goes to the little candy station and starts stealing candy or whatever. Deafy and Otis pull up to the train station. Otis is scared out of his mind, child. He doing that little speech that he give himself, and Deafy gives him a pep talk. Then he and the officers head in. Meanwhile, Otis in the car trying to, amp himself up to go in, saying his little chants and mantras. I'm like, this pussy ass nigga. So Swanee and Zelmare are sitting on the bench together, reminiscing about, being in Missouri and everything that they did, and the, the heist they was able to pull off. So Deafy says to the police officers, the object is to bring them in alive, but if they engage, drop them where they stand. I'm like, holy shit, it's about to go down. So Swanee spots that ghost that's been following them. And so she looking like, what in the fuck is happening? Some shit is wrong. I don't know if this ghost is like a guardian angel for them. I don't know if this ghost tells them shit is afoot. I don't know, but she saw it and she was looking around like the fuck. Zelmare felt like something was off. She didn't, however, see the ghost at that point, but she felt like some shit was off. So she peeping game. She stand up and she looking all around the train station and just peeping certain people or whatever. So she looking around, and then we see Deafy up on the higher tier looking around trying to spot them. He finally spots them. Zelmare then spots him at the same time and they connect eyes. And she look at him and smirk. She's like, oh, y'all thought y'all was about to, run down on the bitch. Oh, you got me fucked up. So Deafy then starts running because he knows it's about to go down. These bitches about to get on some set it off type shit. So Zelmare grabs her motherfucking gun because that bitch don't play about shit. And Swanee then pull out her two guns like she on Dukes of Hazzard or some shit. And then Zelmare kisses her like, bitch, we might not make it out of here, but I'm gonna let you know that puss was good while it lasted. So then Zelmare say, come get us dirty coppers. And she get to spraying them niggas. And then Otis finally get his pussy ass out the goddamn car after the shit that already started and shit. He run inside. By the time he get inside, the shit then died down. Like, it's complete silence. It ain't nothing but dead bodies everywhere. It was like 30 dead bodies on the floor. He just walking past them like, holy shit. So there's numerous officers and civilians on the ground dead. And I was like, holy shit. So then he hears gunfire off in the distance. He runs towards it. And then we see Deafy standing in front of Zelmare and Swanee. He said, drop your weapons, lady. They ran out of bullets. He was like, attaboy, West, cuff them. So Otis walks up and grabs the cuffs or whatever. The next thing we know, he shoot the shit out of Deafy ass and kill him. And I was like, oh, so because you was mad, you was in your feelings when he was bossing you around and shit and making fun of your ass. So he kills him and then he turns around and shoots Swanee in the head. And I was like, God damn, it's not Swanee, cuz I like Swanee. Swanee was a bad bitch with her old butch ass. And I was like, so this is him needing to feel like a big bad wolf, needing to feel that power again. I was like, his old bitch ass. So Zelmare loses it and just starts screaming. And then she abruptly stops because she sees the ghost standing behind Otis. And she immediately stops. And then she goes to charge at Otis. Otis tries to shoot her, but she pushes him, making him fall, and the gun drops out of his hand. And she runs and she's able to get away. And I was like, oh, Zelmare about to be a problem. Zelmare about to come back and dead some niggas. She about to kill Otis and she gonna come after Lloyd and them. I really want to see Lloyd make it out in the end, but the fact that you gave up your son and then you snitched, I don't really see him making it out in the end, but I really want to see it. So Otis, however, is looking at Deafy's dead body, and that shit was so creepy the way Deafy was just sitting there looking at him. Like, look what you did. You kill me, really? So then he lay on his back and he get to doing that one sheep, two sheep shit that he be doing. So then we see Josto outside his home smoking a cigarette. Gitano comes outside, offer him some liquor. They talking or whatever. And Gitano asks him, you know, where is Calamita? Because I can't find him nowhere. And so Josto says, I sent him after the rabbi and the kid. Antoon was supposed to shoot the kid, but the rabbi shot him first, took the kid and flew the coop. So Gitano is happy because he thinks that Satchel is dead. So they celebrating and everything. And he then says, how do you know that the Irishman won't run to Lloyd? And Josto shrugs like, shit, I ain't even think about that. So then they mama come outside and tell them to come inside because, you know, it's cold. They like, we ain't kids no more. You know, grown men don't get colds. And she was like, okay, remember you said that. So she goes back in the house. Next thing we see is these white dudes, it's about 10 of them, start surrounding the house with guns and shit. And I was like, who is these boys? Is these the dudes from New York that they've been talking about? Or are these some dudes that Lloyd hired? Who the fuck are these dudes? So they come up busting. They get to shooting and shit. Gitano, I don't know who the fuck this nigga is. Bionic Terminator ass nigga pull out his gun and get the busting, walking, not giving a fuck about who shooting what. He was like, ain't shit gonna touch me, goddamn it, I'm Iron Man. So he getting to shooting them niggas and they retreated. Just off him alone, they retreated and ran. So meanwhile, Josto ass hiding behind a little log, a pile of logs or whatever. And I'm like, this pussy ass nigga. So he stand up. They realize both of them are straight, and then they hear screaming inside the house. They run in the house and they see somebody was dead on the ground and their mama was dead. And they looking like, fuck my nigga, my mama dead now. So now my mama dead and my daddy dead. Oh, motherfuckers is about to die. And it went off. Tonight's episode was really, really good. We're almost at the end. I believe we're only going to get 10 episodes. I think we probably have 2 more left, if that. But yeah, tonight's episode was really good. I can't wait to see how Zelmare about to come. I can't wait to see how Josto and them about to come. Next week, we're going to see what's going on with the rabbi and Satchel. Love tonight's episode. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. Thank you for watching this video. I love you, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.